It's been a constant barrage of bad news for Sal DiMasi ever since the former House Speaker was convicted on federal corruption charges in 2011. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison, which struck some legal analysts as severe, despite the judge's recommendation that DiMasi serve time close to home at the Devens facility in Air. The Bureau of Prisons sent him to a medical prison in North Carolina. And in the 2 years since his conviction, all of DiMasi's attempts at appeal have been rejected, all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. All this on top of new revelations that the prison withheld medical records from 2012, revealing his tongue cancer had spread to his lungs. I'm joined tonight by Sal DiMasi's wife, Debbie. Welcome to Greater Boston.
Thanks for having me.
So, just on Sal's health, did you recently discover as well that the cancer had spread?
What happened is I was going through his medical records, and in going through those, I saw, while he was being treated for his tongue cancer, that they gave him a diagnosis of lung cancer and treated him with an entirely different regimen of chemotherapies. And he ended up getting quite sick and getting pneumonia from that, and I can't see where they ever treated him again. He was supposed to have 7 treatments of chemotherapy for his
But you discovered it yourself.
cancer.
They didn't tell you that.
They didn't tell. No, we're trying to get answers for that now.
How is Sal's mental and physical health right now?
His mental health is good. He's strong. He's just a strong guy. Has a very good outlook on life. Very positive and very funny. Great sense of humor. I wish I could answer how his health is. I have questions, as he does, and would like to get an answer to where they came up with that diagnosis, why they treated him for lung cancer. Does he have lung cancer? Does he not have lung cancer? We're waiting to get answers.
Is he still in a hospital facility?
No, he was transferred to the Low facility, which is about a mile down the road.
Still in North Carolina. But it's a hardship for you. You can't go that often.
No. It's very difficult.
Now, the Supreme Court ruled on January 27th that they weren't going to rehear this case. Is that the end of this for you? Because you do have 25 days to file a petition of appeal. Are you going to do that?
You know, that's something that Sal and his attorney have to talk about, quite frankly. It's really been his health that's been of most concern to me. So that's for Sal and Tom Kiley to speak about.
Debbie, when Sal was first convicted, you came on the show and talked at length about the case, and I just want to play a little bit of what you said then and see how you feel about it now.
Okay. One of the things that I admire so much about my husband is that he wanted to clear his name. And so he didn't plea. And in not pleading, he knew that he was taking a big risk in taking it to trial. If he was found guilty.
So my question is, was the risk worth it?
Absolutely. I mean, you don't plead to something that you're not guilty of, and I admire him for exercising his rights. I wouldn't have admired him if he pled to something that he didn't do. So it's been a very difficult and tough road with a lot of challenges that we faced. But no.
Even those who believe your husband was guilty and deserves punishment, a lot of people have said enough's enough. There should be some kind of a sympathy, sentencing. They should transfer him up here. A couple months ago, John Keller from WBZ asked the governor about that, and here's what happened.
Would you advocate for a pardon, commutation, or change of prison for him?
I'm not going to get involved in that at all.
How come?
Because it's not my jurisdiction. I have plenty of other things to do. Any other questions?
You wouldn't speak to the president about that?
Does that seem cold to you? You and Sal knew the governor pretty well. Could the governor do something, or is it only up to the federal government and the Federal Bureau of Prisons?
I would imagine if he wanted to, he could probably intervene and try and help. I don't think that's something that he would consider doing.
Have you and your attorneys tried yet again to get Sal moved at least closer to home?
Sal put in for a transfer back in November to be asking to be moved up to Fort Devens. And his doctor, who was treating him, asked that as well, that he be transferred to Fort Devens. And he was transferred to the Low facility.
Do you have the opportunity to do that again, to ask again?
Not for another 18 months.
Oh, so you have to wait a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But no one will give him an answer as to why they didn't move him. He can't get an answer as to why they put him next to Low, into the Low facility, rather.
Is Sal able to speak at this point? I know he had parts of his tongue removed and some teeth.
No, he didn't have parts of his tongue removed.
No?
He can speak, and mornings are difficult. I've noticed that when I'm down there. And he has stenosis of the esophagus, and his esophagus, it closes and he has to get it stretched, and I can hear him having difficulty with that now.
Can he consume solid foods himself?
It's very, very difficult. He doesn't have any salivary glands and has to take very tiny bites and then take water and try and mush it to get it down.
So, but he does not
choking
have
episodes.
He does not have a feeding tube.
He does not, but he still is drinking. How he's maintaining his weight is by drinking the Boost, which was the supplement that he has been taking since he started the treatments.
I know you have a full-time job with the Samaritans, so you can't just up and leave any time, but when do you plan to go back down?
Probably in the middle or end of March. I had planned on the first weekend of March, but that's not going to happen.
All right. Debbie DiMasi, thanks again for coming on.
Thanks for having me.